Hey, there's the Red Dog. What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Uh, it is what? Fed week. September 16th. Hopefully, everyone had a good weekend of watching some football, relaxing, eating a little bit, drinking a little little studying, a little family, friends, fitness, football, right? That's always a good thing to do this weekend. I actually emceed Rocktoberfest, which was awesome. Great day on Saturday. The entire town came out, over 10,000 people from New Jersey, raised well over six figures for the schools, and I still have a voice. So anyway, I do apologize. I'm a little late, so I want to get to it because I feel like there's a little anxiety over this week on what's going to happen and quarter 50 basis points. Is the market going to push above recent resistance and actually break out, or are we going to push above and fail, kind of like what the small caps did last Fed? You never know. That's why we have multiple plans. And if you're managing positions, you got to make sure you're on your game here. So let's do it. Let me just present here so I can get my screen. Here we go. And let's see. There we go. There's the S&P cash, right? You look at it, it's like, oh my goodness, right? You had you had the breakdown in July, a relentless move right back up to the highs, this V bottom, which now looks more like a big cup. And then we went sideways, looking like you were going to break out, and then we started September with a bearish engulfing candle, and all it really did is get us to move down to 54.02, which is a higher low. We just came back up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you remember last week, that Wednesday was nuts. That was the day the Bears had their chance to really break the back of the active bull, and what happened? Big reversal. So they cleaned out a lot of stops, right? That's what these computers do. They clean out stops. Went below all the moving averages. Anyone who had stops in there, boom, they stole their stock. And then, we reclaimed 54.24, reclaimed this 5,500-ish, and then had a few days of follow through. And here we are, heading into the Fed. Pretty quiet market overseas. I think Japan was even closed. Europe's flattish. And wouldn't be kind of so bad if we just go a little sideways here for a day or two. If we can go sideways, what's this low here? This is 5,600. If we could go sideways for a session or so, 56.36 is Friday's high. I think it would just give a little bit more upper support for what could be, a move. So a lot of people are like, hey, Red Dog, is this going to be, another fake out? Are we going to go through 56.51, take this out, put a big candle in, and then get a Red Dog reversal topping tail? We shall see. Let's see what happens the next 2 days first. Let's see, what the market feels like. Let's see what kind of, digestion some of these sectors have. If you look at the spiders, it looks just like, just exactly like the S&P cash. So if you trade the SPYs, you have 556.03. What was that? 563.03. That's Friday's high, and then you have this big area 56.4. If you're rolling up shorts, you're getting a little anxious here. Thank goodness this time around we did really well. Having multiple positions, and at this point again, I would think that the better situation would be is if we kind of like just sit and let some of these moving averages catch up, go a little sideways, and then you really have a bigger bigger springboard to go through. Let me real quickly say hello to some of the dogs around the world. We got Allison, we got Zach, we got Bewell, we got Getting It Pags is getting it done. 54.02 is exactly the 50% retracement, not an accident, says Mike Dominic. Yeah, we kind of hit it. Below we went below this was like the 0.382. We didn't really make the 50%. We basically did like the 40% retracement. It would have been nice to see this 537. It just didn't happen, but it is what it is. So anyway, you've had a big move in the small caps. Some guys made some good money on catch up here. Little Red Dog reversal that Wednesday, went below 207, right? 207, and then hit resistance 1, resistance 2. It's up a little bit. I'd be trimming into this up open. I feel like I remember we came in whatever that day was. I'm like, we should probably be trimming here, and then you had to move lower. So at this point, the IWM is what's it doing? It's up $1.46. So I would be trimming into this 218 and then see what happens here today. This is 217 and a quarter. If I were a betting man, I would think I'm not a betting man. I trade for a living, high probability situations. But anyway, probably open up above this, and I would think we come in a little bit today. So if you're looking to maybe even a cute little short, you could probably do that. I've been focusing on the XBI with the Alpha team. Made really good money here. The XBI came back in play when it took out this 98 area. Bought a lot of it. Some guys are in a lot of options. At this point, you have 102.74, 103, 103.50. At some point, it takes that out. It's really, good trade last week. I'm still in some. We'll see how it goes this week. If you take a little bit of a bigger look at the weekly chart, got a little testy in here, but all in all, it's still, right back into this 103 area. And I would think, with rates being cut, this and that, we get above 103, then you have 111. At some point, we're gonna in 2024. You heard it here. Not that it's a big call. I would think that 111-ish could happen, if not a little bit higher. So keep this on your radar as a good sector. Todd D says NVO and Pfizer look good. Pfizer presents data from the phase 2 study. Okay. Well, just so you guys see, if you guys are on YouTube, everybody kind of talks and throws out some ideas, and that's Todd. Todd actually went to Sigma New Albany with me. Yes. His pleasure name was Flanders. Anyway, so Pfizer, I remember last week somebody was like, "Hey, did you see the day one in Pfizer?" I'm like, "Yeah, Pfizer, you could buy it. It's it's a slow stock." So at this point, though, it did give you a day one, came back in. It hasn't been where the money is. Let's see what Pfizer is doing this morning. It is up 20 cents. But again, not everything is going to be Lilly, where you're basically on your way back towards the highs of the year. Lilly's been absolutely phenomenal for investors, for lots of different types of market participants. I remember we started the year right here. January 2nd was the first power play at 587. Some guys held it the entire year. Anyway, with that being said, we trade this, and it just held the 50-day. I guess see how it holds in here. If it could hold in here, this low here for Lilly is 918. It would make it nice and easy to kind of hold 918, and then maybe the market wants to get some traction this week. It heads back towards this area, which it failed at. This high here is what? This is 942. 942 is right there. Everyone's like in the bio mood today. People throwing out Amgen, Lilly, Pfizer, NVO. Anyway, here's Lilly. What's Lilly doing this morning? Lilly is, let's see, what's Lilly doing this morning? Lilly's up 5. Okay, so it's still, Lily's doing well. It seems a little sideways action, and that can go. On your YouTube, I will move that way. All right, Amgen. I haven't really looked at Amgen in a while. That's a nice pattern. Yeah, look at that. Broke above this spot, got above the moving averages. Nice and tight. Took back the moving averages on Friday. Little cup and handle pattern. Yeah, Amgen looks pretty good. Yeah, the Jets won. Their whole season. Anyway, so that looks pretty. That looks good. Amgen looks good. What's Amgen doing today? I might even look at Amgen, put it on as a power play. Let's see, Amgen. Amgen's up $1, in the middle. It's loose and wide right here. But what's this high? This is let's see. Amgen's high here is 340-ish. You could put this on the radar. I think so. I think I would say be in it. And if it starts to get above and stay above, this area here. This is what? This is 330. Just say 336. They don't have to be perfect. Anyway, so yeah, XBI, NVO, Lilly, Pfizer. Interesting. ON's been very strong. I'll tell you what's not strong this morning is Apple. Apple's kind of lagged recently. I'm not in Apple, thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd be like, this is kind of ruining my morning. But I think they came out and they said that there were some of those AI features that they were promising is not on this phone. So I don't know who's really like so excited to go out and get another iPhone. I've had this iPhone. I think this is the 12. This is 3 years. I got the Max. This was like a $1,400 iPhone when I first got it, and this was literally, I think 4 years ago. A lot of people probably did the same thing, and everyone was kind of ready to upgrade. And when who's going to upgrade right now for if your phone's not in bad shape for a new camera? Anyway, I was hoping they would do the flip phone, kind of like what Samsung has, because I find myself in bed watching my TV shows more than on my 60, 70-inch TV screen in the den and the living room. I think a lot of people do that. Plus, I do a lot of my work on the phone. So, if they came out with a better flip phone, I think the upgrade cycle would be absolutely fantastic. But just to have another phone that looks like this one on the 16, 17 version, yeah, I think they're getting a little lazy. Tim Cook, you're getting a little lazy. Anyway, 217-ish, right? Where are we now? Let's see one more time. This will be big. Does Apple hold 217? If it doesn't, money's going to have to rotate, to keep this market going. Will Meta make new highs this week? I don't know. Meta did a decent job absorbing the news from, the PDD. There was some news the other day that I guess they would be putting some restrictions on some Chinese names, and I know they do some business with them, and it held in really well. I said maybe you could buy 518, 514, and now, if you want to clean this up a little bit, seems as if this could show some leadership. Meta looks good. What's Meta doing this morning? Meta is up 38 cents. So stock selection matters, right? You have Apple's down 450, Meta's, this was a flip though. On Friday, Meta was down like 6, 7, and Apple was hanging out. So you got to be able to stomach these type of things if you trade stocks, so Meta looks pretty good. I'm in Amazon, but I feel like Amazon could use a few days to hang out here. But I also got an Amazon when I put out that video last Wednesday. Somewhere around here is when it was nice and tight. So pretty big move to 188.50. All the moving averages are a little extended, so I would be very light here. But I do think, Amazon is acting better, and Amazon, ever since failing here, kind of get out of the way. And I was a little pissed off at Amazon. We did fill that gap. That was a decent trade in the summer, and then I got back involved around here. So there's really no setup here in Amazon. But yeah, Apple 16 demand down. I think the reason for this dip. Thanks. I just said that. Anyway. What looks good that's getting tight, listen, I used to trade Tesla all the time, and then it turned into a predatory mess. We're up day, one down day, blah, 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 blah. Made some good money last week in Tesla, actually, really. I know this day kind of threw everyone for a loop, and that was the day that everyone thought, the market was cooked, and then we kind of just rebuilt here. So I am long Tesla, and I think, if Tesla can get above this 235 this week, I don't know what the catalyst would be. There's a gap to fill to 245, and it's above the moving averages, and that could be a good trade. So I do have Tesla on the radar to fill this gap this week. It's part of my ace setup play, so hopefully it happens. I'd love to be able to take some really big size through this and sell from 237 to 240 and hold some, but what I want to do and what the stock does is two different things, but I would put it on the radar. It's nice and tight. So everything, like I said before, is just different. Yeah, GEV has been a beast. Dash, some people, really, really like this Dash, and I do think that it has a void to fill here higher. It's kind of misunderstood. There are a lot of good institutional reports coming out on it. This is where you should have had your size, though, and then perhaps trim. Now let it go sideways before it goes again. I'll tell you, Bitcoin, two different things. Like gold has been absolutely friggin' rock star. All my friends that, are asset allocators that have been buying physical gold every month or putting 5, 10, 15% of their portfolios into gold feel really good. And if you do trade tactically for a living, this was the day that it got back above the 8-day and the 21-day, and that's where a lot of guys put it back on. So if you've been in it since August 8th, what a nice swing trade in the GLD. Silver played catch up. And for those of you who are banging your head against the wall with Bitcoin, at some point it could change. Where's Bitcoin here? Bitcoin is off a little bit, not the end of the world. Didn't have the weekend everyone thought, but still hanging around. It's just I don't know. I'm not going to make excuses and make like I know why Bitcoin isn't breaking above this entire channel so far, but all in all, you go to the weekly chart of Bitcoin. Let's go weekly chart. Are you coming up? Nope. Okay. For some reason, oh, there it is. It's not the end of the world. You just have to have expectations. I think people's expectations were really high. This is October 16th. A year ago, this was 28.5. When is high? It almost, 73,000 got above 69. So at some point, I would think that it holds this area and gets through. For some reason, I always feel like around Thanksgiving, that's when like Bitcoin's going and everyone's grandma is like, oh, how come I not be in Bitcoin? Or the taxi driver, actually the Uber driver is like, did you see Bitcoin? So, here we are mid-September, if it starts to work its way higher, that's usually when it feels like, crypto has a move. So don't be upset about it. It is what it is. Silver, hoo. Yeah, silver is, had a really big week. Wow. To play catch up to gold. I know a lot of people have been getting frustrating with silver because it hasn't, been moving the way gold has. But all in all, you can't be upset with silver. It's this 29.50 seems like it could happen at some point. Remember, there's a industrial component to silver, and if the Fed's supposed to be lowering rates 112 basis points, that means something's slowing down. That means they're using less silver besides the inflation component or whatever you want to call it, the safety. But silver looks good. That's a nice weekly bull flag. Here's 29.56. Look at what gold looks like here. Wow. So hey, listen, there's lots of different kinds of sectors working, a lot of things moving. You just got to be able to pick and choose your spots carefully and know your risk and not get too much at the wrong time. Last week a few one-offs came up. This ASTS, a lot of people have been trading this for a while and really like it. I sold some puts into this area, and then you had a red dog reversal, and then it was a great trade on Friday. I think this dip should be buyable. If this is going to hold momentum, though, it should not come back below this 28.50 area. Today it's down like 50 cents or 40 cents. I'll probably buy it to go green. And then if it can get above 30.93, it could have another push. So I do think this is like one of those fun traders that if you catch it well, you can make a nice percentage move. I know it's had a big move, but there is some institutional money behind it. This other thing, CORZ worked. Nice little candlestick on Friday. Got above the moving averages. This is supposed to be like crypto, AI, miner, everything together. I'm sure if crypto is up, it might have had some follow through. Instead, you probably just need to kind of hang here with it, and I will buy more. And I would think that if this wants to be special, this could hold. All it's got to do is really hold this 1040 area. So I do think at some point there is some big money in here, and they might come grab it the next time Bitcoin has a nice move, which perhaps could be Fed day. Semis. I'm in some Nvidia. Nvidia needs a little time, so let's leave it on Nvidia. Nvidia had a great move. You had this lower pivot area where everyone's like, it's a bear flag, it's going to 93 or lower, and I was like, it could, and then it got above this 109 spot to trigger more of a active buy strategy. I think that's when we got pretty long it, and then you had a nice move to where it broke down from, and now a few inside days, and chances are you can get another trade here. So I'm going to try and stay long. I would think that if this is going to keep upward momentum and put in a nice bull flag, it shouldn't break this 115 area. So I would rather you go with Nvidia than AMD, to be honest. You had a huge move in Avago. Remember this red dog reversal we talked about a week ago? Right here, look at this red dog reversal. It went below 136.60, held the 200. They came back up. If you bought it, put your stop in at below that low, which is a strategy. You could have go on YouTube and Google red dog reversal. What do you do if you're a swing trader and you have a job and you don't want to actively manage it? Goes below, it comes back above. You buy it at that pivot from 172 down, and then you put your stop, and then you go to sleep, or you go into the mountains, or you go for a walk. Anyway, that's a long walk though. 5 days later, you're up 30 points. You just made a fortune. And if you trade it, you pick and choose your spots. Close this gap, which was nice. Showed there was no power post earnings, and now it's probably just a little overbought. I actually tried to fade it on Friday, and I made some peanuts. And anyway, we'll see what's next here. I would think, if you want to buy a Avago, I'm not saying it'll get here, but probably shouldn't get back below this spot, which is kind of the small little downtrend. That means we, kind of pulling into the Fed. Palantir was fantastic. That started my whole, positive sequence. Red Dog was a little, chopped up and feeling it. I am human, and I did just so everyone, I did get caught this little portion a little extra short. I bought really well in here, and I was the highs of my year and my life, and got a little short, thinking this 540 wasn't gonna break through, and then that happened. So I got a little chopped up, but I did go out pretty long Palantir options, thinking it was going to get in the S&P 500, and it did. So we did pretty well with that. It's a little extended, but really nice trade. Good for investors, good for traders, a little bit for everyone except for the bears. The bears, if you're just a bear, this is giving you no reason. There are some people that are in it from the August 5th earnings, and when after August 5th low, this came out numbers and gapped up and was able to hold this gap, from there. So boom, that's a swing trade that if you go look at my glossary of education, you buy versus a pivot from earnings. That happened, and then this was your S&P one. So anyway, a lot of different things to do. Yeah, Todd D's been all over this one as well. So with that being said, at 6:55, I'm going to do about 40 charts. I had an open house last week. I think we got a lot of new members of the Alpha team, which is awesome. Typically the fourth quarter is really busy. This week's going to be a little nuts. So if you feel like you're lost and trading alone, no reason for that. If you like the 6:30 club, I'm telling you, you'd like to spend the whole day with a lot more people than me. There's usually about 500 people in the Alpha team hanging out, talking about ideas and this and that. But anyway, it is what it is. It's up to you. I appreciate you. Listen, day by day this week, and then as we get closer to Wednesday, we'll figure out where we are and other ways to approach a big binary event like that. But at least it's intraday, so it's not like at 8:30 where you get the CPI and PPI and everything's all over the place, and by the time 9:30 rolls around, it's trickier. Fed days are tough, but the action is intraday, and you could maneuver and adjust, which is all you could ask for, as long as you have multiple plans, and we'll make sure to do that. So anyway, good luck today, guys. I'll post some charts, and I'll see you in a bit.